Hey, what's up? It's your girl Nique, and you're tuned in to Nique At Nite. And if you are a constant member or watcher of the channel, then you already know over here we are the what? Night owls. Okay, we have a little fun, we get down to topics, and this time is no different. We're going to be talking about a real life experience that I experienced while covering the T.I. and Tiny trial and how the Larian family got completely out of line.
You don't want me in the tape. You can just get Isaac. You don't need me.
Hi. So, how did you feel overall? How did you feel like it was going?
Isaac. Don't talk. Isaac. Don't talk.
Oh, okay.
No, I understood. No combat. Thank you. Thanks for covering it.
Don't touch me.
See you next time.
If you want, don't touch me.
He's the CEO.
Can you guys let him be himself?
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Do you want to talk? No.
See you next time.
All right. So I'm going to pause it right there. I feel like that's a good point to pause it. As they're walking away, you see the Isaac Larian, who is the owner, the official owner. Now, these little hood rat children that he has, they're also part owners, but Isaac Larian is the official owner of MGA, where he has given a percentage of ownership to his children and his family. Now, as he's walking away, he's telling his son what he did was rude and how it would play out and be on social media. And he's absolutely right, because we're definitely going to talk about how out of line the wife, daughter, and son were in this situation.
What you did was wrong, that now you get it on social media. What you did was wrong, that now you get it on social media.
But before we go there and go blow by blow breaking down this video, we're going to talk about everything that led up to this point and get on into it. Now, I'm a person who, obviously by appearance, I'm a black woman. I do not like to pull like the, oh, it's because I'm black, thing. But when it applies, it applies. Okay. In this situation, absolutely felt like the sole response and treatment that I received was because I am a black woman. And I just could not believe the experience that I was having. Now, let's back up a little bit and give you guys a little background. So I covered the Tory Lanez trial. From that, I networked some more, and I ended up meeting Megan Cunith, who was a prominent reporter, and she had gone viral several days from her coverage from the Tory Lanez trial as well. So she tells me about this case with T.I. and Tiny, and if I knew about it and if I was interested in going. And to that, I took her up on the offer. I'm like, listen, I'm new to this. I really didn't expect to like this as much as I do. So I'm going to definitely take you up on your offer and come and cover the trial. So throughout this process, it has been a very positive one up until that moment. And I didn't feel no type of way. I felt welcome in the courtroom. I didn't feel like you don't need to be here. I just didn't feel like a negative vibe from the experience up until I was approached by Isaac Larian's daughter, Jasmin Larian, his son, and his wife being out of line. So it goes up to a mistrial, okay? And basically there was a woman who, she went on a rant and they played her deposition, and there was supposed to not be any mention of cultural appropriation, right? Which the whole problem is surrounded around cultural appropriation. However, they were lucky to get that excluded from one of the judge's rules. So there wasn't supposed to be any mention of how companies, even though it's true, culturally appropriate the black community and steal from us constantly, all the time, steal our ideas all the time. That is absolutely true. There's tons of research that can show it. However, per the judge's rules, that was one of the areas, even though that's pretty much the premise of how this all came about. That was one of the things that was not supposed to be touched on and talked about. So they played a deposition, and a girl kind of went on a rant. She talked about how companies always steal from the black community, how they always ripping off our style, our likeness. And she was absolutely disgusted when she found out that the OMG dolls had no association with the OMG girls, blah, 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 blah. Well, the next day they came and they declared it to be a mistrial. Now, this is the first time throughout the weekend days that I have been going that I had ever seen Miss Jasmin Larian, Jason Larian, and his wife Angela Larian at the courthouse. Now, if they were there, I didn't notice them prior, but this was the first time that I actually seen them or recognized or seen their presence at the courthouse. After they declare mistrial, the judge basically gives the jurors notice that they are able to talk to anybody that they want to. They're not forced to. However, he said, it's up to you guys if you guys want to talk to people or not. The lawyers might want to question you about pointers that they did wrong or your feelings about it. And if you want to talk to anybody about it, you can. So they let out of court, and the first person to walk out and just, come from the juror chambers was the man who you guys seen me interview. He immediately came out and he told them how he thought that the rant probably was what caused the mistrial. He said that he believed her to be true in her statement of companies stealing from the Black community. And he talked about how he did not think that it was a coincidence that the dolls looked exactly like the OMG girls with the naming of them and everything like that. So after he got done talking to the attorneys and telling them his bit about how he didn't like how they attacked like the language and, different stuff like that, I was like, hey, do you want to talk? He said yes. We came down. We did the interview. And I worked with what I had, period, my phone. And I did the interview. The juror told me how he felt. And I said, okay, cool. I didn't want to hold him too long. I'm like, this is an older guy. I don't want to hold him up. I just kind of want to get the boop, 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 things that I heard him say. Okay, he said that. Okay, he said that. He said, okay, got that out the way. Let the man go about his merry way. I'm thinking it would probably be cool to talk to another juror. And so this is where entitled, rude, out of line, Larian family enter into the picture, okay? So I go up to one of the court marshals and I ask him if all of the jurors had left because I would like to get another interview with another juror just to get a balance of perspective of how they felt. I wanted to know the people who didn't believe that the dolls look like them and the people who did believe. Like, I wanted to get balance. Y'all know on my channel, I like to get both sides of how people felt. The guy talked about how some of the other jurors didn't think like him and how he felt like the lawyers were trying to play up to the inner racism in some of them. And so I wanted to try to see if that was a thing and if there was other people who even thought like him or thought opposite of him or whatever. So I go up to the court marshal, ask him if all of the jurors had left, and he's telling me like he's seen a group of jurors and he thinks that they all left, but I'm welcome to double check if I'd like or whatever. And he's telling me like normally what's happening is, they normally are talking about like if they're going to relitigate this, they're talking about if there's going to be like a future date and things like that. It's kind of like the lawyers. He said, I don't think any jurors are up there still because it had been a while. He said, but you could go and check if you want. So in my gut, I felt like, I don't think I've seen all the jurors leave. I'm going to go check for myself, So I take off all my stuff. It's like a crazy process. You have to take out every single cord. Like if you have a phone charger, you got to take it out your bag. If you have a computer charger, you have to take it out your bag. Car keys, you have to take it out your phone. You have to open up your laptop. You have to put it in. It's like this real tedious process to go up and down. So whenever I would go up or down, I tried to have as minimal cords, as minimal things that I would have to take out because it's too much. It's a lot. You got to take off your shoes. You got to take off your jacket. You got to take off all of these things just to go through the metal detector. Your shoes got to go through the conveyor. All of your cords got to be out of your backpack. Everything has to be out. Like, it's this big process, but I'm like, forget it. I want to double check. I'm dedicated to giving a full rounded account of this case. So I go up, and when I go up, there's 3 jurors still upstairs. And I was like, thank goodness I followed my instinct and I came up here, because there's still a chance that I could possibly talk to another juror. Now, it's not promised, but it's possible, and I'm going to shoot my shot. So when I get up there, the Larian family is up there. Isaac Larian, the doll maker, is also up there. And all of the lawyers and attorneys are up there, and they're still talking and trying to get intel from these jurors on what they felt. And then so I seen there was this one juror who was kind of like walking away, about to go down. So I see her and I say, hey, you know, would you like to give a statement to the media? And she said, She's like, who's media? Like, who would I be talking to? And I tell her, me, I'm media. And then she was like, oh, okay. She was like, where do you want to speak to me? You know, where do you want to speak to me at? Like, do you want to go over here? And so I tell her, I said, it's prohibited for me to record anywhere in the building, that we would have to go down. Okay. So as I'm making these arrangements with this juror to talk to her, in comes Jasmin Larian, right? She walks up to me in the middle of talking to the lady, and she says, whose side are you on? Are you neutral? I'm looking like, what? Like, yes, I'm neutral. Like, then she gonna try to make some slick comment, and she gonna say something about, if you write something, make sure you write the right thing, or something to that effect. Very similar to Tory Lane's father when he came up to me or whatever. But so I'm like, what? Like, anyways, let me finish talking to the juror, because who are you, lady? So I'm talking to the juror. I'm like, okay, we could go down. So then the juror, after she does that, she starts to get apprehensive. She's like, oh, well, I don't know if I should or not or whatever. But mind you, before that point, she was like, where do you want to go? You want me to talk to me over here? Like, all of that. Cool. So after that, you know, the Jasmin girl comes up to me asking me, like, whose side are you on? Are you neutral? Oh, make sure you write the right thing. You know, so then the lady, she starts to kind of get apprehensive, and she's kind of like, oh, well, I don't know, you know, for my son's job, I don't want, you know, it to be something that reflects bad on him, blah, blah. So I'm like, it shouldn't reflect your son. Like, unless you're right, your true feelings about this, you know, that's what I'm thinking. I hadn't verbally said that yet, but, you know, but she's like, but, you know, where do you want to go? You want to go down? So I said, yes. So as I say that we're going to go down, Jasmin Larian, Angela Larian, her husband, they follow us into the elevator. So I'm making arrangements to go down. They see that we're about to go down. So all of a sudden they start to want to go down. Also, she was a sweet, nice lady. She was ready to talk to me, you know, everything like that. But as soon as the Jasmin girl came up to me talking about whose side are you on, and, oh, make sure you write the right thing and all this stuff, then the lady was kind of like, you know, she kind of felt like, you know, am I making the right decision? You know, and things like that. And so I just felt like it was completely out of line that this woman, Jasmin Larian, would infringe on me, a Black woman, trying to do my job. Okay? But it doesn't stop there. So we make it down to the bottom floor, and Megan Cunith was downstairs waiting for me to come back down, because I had told her, I'm going to go up, and if there's jurors upstairs, I'll text you and let you know. And if the jurors come downstairs while I'm upstairs, you text me and let me know. So she was downstairs to see if they came, and I went upstairs, and we were kind of working together so that we would be able to get additional statements from jurors. So when I go up, I text Megan. I say, hey, there's a couple jurors up here, blah, 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 and whatnot. And so I said, you know, and I tell her I'm coming down. So I make it down, and as I make it down, the Larian family, they start walking out of the elevator. Mind you, and a part that I missed out too is before I went down and before I approached the juror, okay, I had asked Isaac Larian, the owner, would he make a statement? So before I had got to that juror, I had asked Isaac Larian, and I said, hey, how are you? Like, would you be making any statements to the media? He smiled at me and he was like, I'm thinking about it. And his aura gave like he wanted to make a statement. So I said, okay, well, I'll touch bases when you come down, because we're not allowed to record or anything up on that floor. So we get down to level 1. So we get down. I'm kind of walking beside the 2 jurors, and the Larian family had like walked ahead, and so they were about to walk out. So the wife of Isaac Larian does a beeline, turns around, and comes up and gets in the juror's face and tells her, you don't need to talk to her. She's gonna make up lies. She's on their side, you know. And mind you, this was also something that Jasmin has said up there too. When she was like, oh, because you were sitting on their side or something, when she had asked me, was I neutral? So the wife is also coming with that same BS, telling the juror, like, and she's literally in the woman's face, like up on the woman, like super invading her space, telling her not to talk to me. She said, don't talk to her. She's going to write up lies and she's going to twist your words and she's not going to tell the truth. Like, first of all, lady, you don't know me. First of all, I have integrity, and people that you and your family have hired have also praised me and gave me props on how well I broke down things. So if you and your daughter would have, instead of racially profiling me and assuming because I'm black that I absolutely had to be with Tiny and T.I., if you would have talked to your team about who I was, they probably would have told you. But that, you know, that prejudice, it just be running so deep to where they don't even think to do that. They just automatically think she's black, they're black, she's with them. So she goes and she's up in the lady's face and she's telling her, she's like, she's with them. She's with them. She's going to write up lies and stuff. Don't talk to her, all this stuff. So then the daughter starts walking up to it and saying, I'm telling the lady, I'm like, first of all, I'm not with them. I am media by myself, And so the daughter comes and she's walking up and she's like, you are with them. You were sitting on their side. Mind you, there is open seating in the courtroom. There is no designated, if you are doing media, you got to sit here. If you are black, you got to sit here. If you're white, you got to sit here. If you're with Isaac, you got to sit. You could sit where you want. Okay? And where I sat was next to Megan Cunith in the very back of the courtroom. I ain't never, not no days, sat next to Tiny, T.I., Zonique, or any person that they work with inside that courtroom. Every time that I came, which every time they were not there, I sat in the back with Megan Cunith. Once I found out that we were able to sit in the plush leather seats that are in the back that are more comfortable. Because when I first started going, I was sitting on the left side, which I guess is you're not with Tiny and T.I. if you sit on this side. I started sitting on that side, but the benches were so hard that, once I seen Megan sitting in the comfortable leather seat, I'm like, we could sit here. So I started sitting next to her, and it was beneficial to sit next to her because when I had certain questions, I'm close enough to her to answer them, and she would tell me, if I missed something or whatever, and we kind of like were, doing it like that. So I'm sitting in an available seat in the very back, closest to the door, not next to any party of the case. She tells me, and she's going off and telling the juror, no, she was sitting on their side because I'm sitting on the right side back of the courtroom. Mind you, T.I., Tiny, or their team, they weren't even there that day. And before that day, these disrespectful, entitled, racially profiling people, they were never there. So it's like, you don't even see me next to Tiny and T.I. They're not even here. And you still are accusing me of being on their side. You don't even see me speaking to them because they're not even here. And you're still accusing me after I told you already that I'm not with them? I'm here to do a job. If I'm here to cover a case, I'm going to talk to Tiny, I'm going to talk to T.I., and I'm going to talk to anybody who's willing to talk to me. And that's what I went up there to do. But this day in question, Tiny and T.I. were not even there. Zonique or any of them were not even there. It was just their attorneys. So we're down. Mind you, the daughter already started with this write the right thing, you're sitting on their side, bullcrap upstairs. Now we get downstairs after they followed me and the juror into the elevator. Mind you, the father was still up there. The team of their lawyers were still up there. So it wasn't time for them to come out. They all were leaving together. So it is my belief that they intentionally followed me to intimidate the witness, to further intimidate the witness, because Jasmin had already started it. And it is my belief that they intentionally further set out this plan to intimidate the witness not to talk to me. Okay? So we're down at this bottom floor. I'm walking out of the elevator. You know, the family starts to walk away. The wife turns around, gets in the lady's face. Mind you, there's cameras all in there. Inside. They can roll the tape from inside the federal building. She gets up into this lady's face like, you don't need to talk to her. She's going to write up lies. And mind you, this is like a short lady. The wife she has her heels on. She's taller and everything. So she's like very intimidating to this juror. And she's all in her face and saying, you don't need to talk to her. She's with them. She's on their side. She's going to write up these lies. She's going to twist your words. You shouldn't talk to her. And I'm telling her, like, first of all, I'm not writing anything. It would be on video. And I'm on the side of media because I'm media. And then the disrespectful, entitled, and very rude owner of Coat Gaia, owner of Bratz dolls, Jasmin Larian, she then walks up on me like, you were sitting on their side. Bimbo, if I was sitting on the left side, you damn for sure wouldn't think I was with your dad. So the sole reason that you keep, after I've already repeatedly told you at this point that I'm doing media, the sole reason that you keep saying this seems to be motivated by my skin color. Okay? It seems to be motivated by my skin color. So at this point, I meet up to where Megan Cunith is, and the jurors are a little bit ahead of me. At this point, I just already know, like, it's a dub for me speaking to this juror because they have continued to make sure that they intimidated her enough not to speak to me. Okay? And just kept with this rhetoric that is absolutely false and baseless. And it started to feel a little bit harassing at that point. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I'm not bothering y'all. I'm not saying no remarks to y'all. I have not said nothing crazy to your father. Why are y'all doing this? So the husband, Ryan, I think his name is Ryan Heckmat. He has this real estate company and he's like an investor or whatever. Ryan Heckmat, he is trying to diffuse the situation. He's pulling his wife away from, because she's walking up on me and he's pulling her back and stuff like that. And I'm just, you better get her. Because if she touch me, thank you for getting her, Ryan. Because she was very out of line. Your mother-in-law was very out of line. So thank you for trying to diffuse the situation because your family members were going out of line. Okay? So by this time, I meet up. Megan Cunith is walking up because she sees, us coming down. She sees these other jurors and all this stuff. So I tell Megan, I tell her, like, what they just did. I'm like, they just tried to intimidate the juror not to talk to me. They're sitting here doing X, Y, and Z. And so, like, we're walking out. And so Megan's like, it's fine. Like, if the juror doesn't want to talk, like, it's fine, whatever. And then so we make it to outside. So we're outside and I'm still telling Megan what happened. And I'm like, yeah, like, even though I'm in the courtroom and I'm sitting next to you in the back, who's a reporter and a journalist who's clearly not with T.I. and Tiny, you've been doing the same coverage that I have been doing. Even though I'm in the back sitting next to you, because I'm black, Jasmin, and I didn't know her name at that time, but I said she keeps accusing me of being with T.I. and Tiny, even though I told her that I'm not with them. I'm independent doing media. And so here comes Jasmin again, acting like she about to walk up on me. And she's like, she just accused me of being racist. She just accused me of being racist. You know, she's telling her husband that, and her husband is like pulling her away so that she don't like walk up on me, which is another good idea. Very good idea. Pull her away. Because if she touched me in the slightest, it's a very good idea. You know, I don't know. Like, I feel like I would have probably had a panic attack, anxiety attack if, you know, it was a lot going on. Like, you know, I'm surprised I didn't have a panic attack. Actually, it was a lot. It was very heavy how they were acting. It was very ghetto. They were acting very ratchet. They were acting very ghetto and disrespectful. They were intimidating and trying to, like, you know, be like very forceful with their opinions, their false opinions of me. And I was just like, wow, I'm here to do a job. F them. So, like I told y'all, I had already asked the father, Isaac, if he wanted to speak to media. I'm like, I'm not about to pay them no mind. They are trying to throw me off my game. They're trying to, you know, I don't know what they're trying to do, but the intimidation is not going to work. I'm still going to do my job. So I could see through the glass that the father was about to come out. So I started recording because I had already talked to him and I had already asked him would he be making a statement. He was pleasant. He smiled and he said he was thinking about it and he looked like he was very interested in making a statement. So bump you guys, entitled, rude, very seemingly racist, okay, people, bump y'all. Let me continue to do my job. So I start recording, okay, and as I'm recording, the father walks out and I'm back in job mode. Hey, you know, hey, how did you think it was going? Now, this is a very smart guy. I just watched him throughout the trial. Very quick, very smart. As soon as anything was going on, he's taking notes, writing notes. He's strategizing with the lawyers. He's very smart. He's very capable of speaking for himself. It has nothing to do with him coming here and, you know, and not from this country. He hears very well. He speaks very well for himself. And I just watched him in court, strategizing with the team, writing notes, passing notes, breaking down and strategizing on the spot while this trial was going on. So he's very capable of speaking for himself. However, the racism just couldn't jump off of the Larian children. Okay, it just was like oozing, because it just, in their mind, it just did not process that it's possible that this black woman is actually working media like she said. It just wasn't possible. It just did not resonate with them. It just absolutely had to be, I had to be somebody with Tiny and T.I. The thought of me being independent, working hard and grinding and trying to, you know, make moves in my career, that's not possible. The only possibility had to be she's black, she got to be with the black people. So the father comes out, and as he comes out, I start recording. So I start recording and I'm like, hey, you know, snapping back into it. Hey, how'd you think it was going? He's fully capable of dodging certain questions and answering politically correctly. His son, Jason Larian, swoops in and like pushes him away. Then that prompted one of their white attorneys to jump in and try to shut him up. Then here comes Jasmin Larian trying to get the father not to speak to me. Then Jason Larian comes and gets in my face and swipes his hand in my face like he's about to grab my phone. As this is going on, I'm like, don't touch me, because his hand got very close, like he was about to, I don't know if he was about to, like, my phone was in front of my face, so I don't know if he was trying to grab my phone or if he was about to try to hit me. But it got very close. So I'm like, don't touch me. So as I'm telling him, don't touch me, here come the wife. The wife who had got all in the juror's face, telling the juror not to talk to me. Here comes the wife walking up on me to the side. Now she's out of frame, but before she gets out of frame, and right when I tell the brother, the son, don't touch me, you can kind of see her walking towards me. So I'm recording. The wife is about to like walk up on me too, so I turn around and tell her too, don't touch me.
Accommodating. Thank you. Thanks for covering it.
Don't touch me.
See you next time.
If you want, don't touch
He's
me.
the CEO. He's
Can you guys let him be himself?
Thank you. Have a nice day.
So I tell the son, don't touch me. The wife start walking up on me like she finna do something. Don't touch me. You know, like we not about to play them games. So I'm recording, and as I'm recording them, the daughter is still telling them she's with them. She's with them. And mind you, at this point, I can't even count how many times I've already told her I am media. I'm with myself doing a job. And since I've been here doing my job, I have asked each party, would they like to speak to me on camera? The first video that I did, a lot of people, they were like, Nique, Tiny looked like she wanted to speak to you. Like, why didn't you ask her any questions? Before I started that video, I asked permission. And I said, hey, would you guys be willing to make a statement to media? The guy that was with them immediately said no, they won't be making any statements about the case or saying anything like that, but they could say hi. So knowing that, day one, I rolled the video. And I say, hey, this is Tiny and T.I. They're at the courthouse, blah, blah. She's waving, and then she doesn't like leave right away, and then she's waving. You know, and everybody was like, why didn't you interview her? Because I had already asked permission, and they told me no. Okay. This is T.I. and Tiny outside of the federal court building. So, you know, I was under the impression, you know, so I got what I could get from them. Same way I asked the lawyers. I asked different people who I seen a part of it, would they like to make a statement? All of them declined. So, what was I saying? So anyways, so they're walking or whatever. And the father, he, like as they're walking, Jasmin, the entitled, rude woman who interfered with my interview upstairs, and continued to follow me downstairs along with her mother, and continued to interfere with my interview and try to intimidate the woman not to speak to. I already told her upstairs. I told her downstairs. I told her outside, even before the father came, in conversation that I've had with Megan Cunith. I'm telling Megan Cunith, another reporter who I was sitting next to, I'm like, yeah, like even though I'm sitting next to you and you're a reporter, I'm a reporter, like we're here doing a job, she keeps accusing me. After this, all of these instances where she has been well aware that I am with media. After I try to, you know, record the father, her and her brother are rushing up, the mom's walking up on me, the brother's in my face. After all of this, and she's very well aware, and I said it multiple times, I'm with myself. In the video, you can still see her saying, no, she's with them, and she's trying to gather up the lawyer and tell them that I'm with T.I. and Tiny and them, and like just continuing to lie. She's continuing to lie.
See you next time.
What you did was wrong, that now she's going to go on social media.
I'm with media. That's who I'm with.
Isaac.
Further, the father, I can't make out exactly what he said to her, but it sounded like he also was telling her, like, no, she's not with them. And I can't make out what he said, but it sounded like he was telling her, like, she's like doing media. I don't know what he said exactly, but it sounded like he was telling her that, you know, I was doing my job. And then she's like, no, she's not. No, she's not. Like trying to tell him, like, no, I'm not who he's telling her I am.
See you next time. See you next time.
Like her, even after that point, she's continuing to be put on notice that I'm not with them. And in her little ringless mind, it just is not able to process that I'm actually not with them. She still is going on in the video. So they're walking away. The father tells the son how what he did was rude, which it was. He came in my face, swiped all in my face and everything. And the wife came up to me. They had already been doing a whole thing before that. He told them how it was rude and it would be on social media, which it is, and it will be. So they continue to walk. And the girl, Jasmin, is still, she's with them. She's on their side. Like, she still is going at it. So the father turns around and he finally is like, you know what? Let me just tell these people. Like, what I was going to say was, like, you guys are doing your job. Thank you for your coverage of the case, or something like that, he said.
I just was gonna say thank you for covering this case.
That's it. Okay.
That's all I was gonna say to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're doing your job. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, have a good day, you guys.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Bye, thanks.
So they're like, all right, that's it. All right, that's it. Shut up. Don't say nothing else. That's not anything else. And I'm going to show you guys the video after this in a second in full. So an older lady, after he says that, I'm like, all right, you know, have a good day. I'm walking back up towards the court. I turn around and I had walked like kind of like by this tree, and I see beyond the tree this lady that's with them. I don't know whose mama she is, if she's Angela's mama or if she's Isaac's mama, but she's one of their mamas look like, you know. I don't know whose mama she is. But this mint got the audacity to whip out her phone like y'all wasn't just infringing on my rights. Like I'm doing something wrong to y'all. This girl, old lady, when we all gonna get old and hope to get old someday. However, this older lady, she pulls out her phone, y'all. She pulled out her phone, and as she pulled out her phone, I'm walking away, and something told me to turn around. I turned around to look. She got her phone, and she's trying to zoom in to take a picture of me. So I start walking back up towards her. I said, lady, you don't have to sneak no picture of me. I would gladly pose. Like, would you like, how, like, I would gladly pose for the picture. Like, you don't have to sneak no picture of me. Girl, I could not believe it. Like, I got so heated because it was definitely a feeling of like, you know, Megan Cunith is here, but it's like, at the end of the day, like, you know, if this, like, is this about to become a physical assault? Like, the way that they acted, like, they just, like, they about to walk, like, girl, it was a whole thing. Like, it was a whole thing. And I'm just like, I cannot believe that these are billionaire, millionaire people acting ratchet and ghetto like this. But no matter how much money you have, you know, there is ghetto and ratchet people of every race. And they were acting like thugs. They were acting like hood rats. and they were acting very like they were about to get very aggressive and violent. And the only person I could, somewhat thank is Ryan, the husband, who kept trying to diffuse the situation. If he wasn't there, I have no doubt in my mind that they would have tried to get physical. I really do think that. I think that. And I just feel like any black woman who goes around them, be careful. Be very, very careful. Anybody who works with her brand, Coat Gaia, who is a black woman, be very careful. I will no longer support LOL dolls, Bratz dolls, any endeavor that they have. I seen that they just brought something called Zoo Pixel. I don't know what that is, but I want to make sure that it's nothing that I take my child to support. Yeah, but let me show y'all this video in full, and then we talk about this a little bit more, child. Because I could not believe these people was acting like thugs like this. Y'all worth $1 billion, and you just can't take the ghetto out of people no matter how much money they have. You can't take the racism out of people. It just oozes from their system, and it's just crazy.
You don't want me to take, you can just get Isaac. You don't need me.
Hi, so how did you feel overall? How did you feel like it was going?
Isaac. Don't talk. Isaac, don't talk.
Oh, okay.
No, I understand. No comment. No comment. Thank you. Thank you for covering it.
Don't touch me.
See you next time.
If you want, don't touch
He's the
me.
CEO.
Can you guys let him be himself?
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You want to talk? No.
See you next time.
I'm with media. That's who I'm with.
Isaac.
I just was gonna say thank you for covering this case.
That's it. Okay.
That's all I was gonna say to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. You're doing your job. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
All right, have a good day, you guys.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Bye, thanks.
All right, so y'all see this lady right here with the glasses that's reaching in her purse? This is the lady who called herself trying to record me, child. So right here, she's reaching for her phone, I guess, or she reaching for something so that she could record me. And at the time, I didn't know that's what she was doing till I turned around and seen that she, like, girl, what? Thank you.
Thank you. You're doing your job. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
All right, have a good day, you guys.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Bye, thanks.
You see, she reaching for that phone. She can't get it out fast enough. Okay? So that's when she whips out the phone or whatever and tries to like take my picture and just all of this stuff. And it just sucks that the last day of covering this case ended up that way. You can see this video on and without any interruptions on my Instagram page. If there is any YouTubers who want to use the clip and cover this, you absolutely have my permission. I think that as many Black people put these people on blast for how they acted, there was even stuff in the past where, although the father was nice to me in that instant, there was ways that he treated other Black women that I feel like that's where Jasmin and Jason get it from. You know, and although up until that point he had not treated me no type of way, there is that type of undertone that has been reflected to other Black women. And I feel like, you know, the apple don't fall far. If you feel disgusted by Black people in general, that's, you know, that's going to be reflected in the children. And Jasmin, she could not shake that racism off of her. You know, shout out to her husband, Ryan, who seems like he was raised right and trying to diffuse it. But Jasmin, Angela, and Jason, child, it could not shake up off of them. Shake it off. It could not, honey. But there was an incident with another black woman, and I just want to touch on this real quick before I go. But there was this black woman who had accused Isaac of stealing her likeness as well. And she had basically responded to these dolls that she felt like was made off of her. Now, her name is Amina Musiolo, I think. And she has Studio Musi or Mucci. I don't know how to pronounce it. I just now became aware of her when I was doing research on this. But she had showed where one of the dolls looked exactly like her in her likeness and everything, and how she has her rainbow outfit, how she has her blue hair, and how she has all of these things that look exactly like this doll, same way the situation went down with Tiny and T.I. She basically called them out as well for this. So in a tweet, she stated, sharing this again because I refuse to be silenced. LOL surprise, MGAENT used my likeness to make this doll without my permission. And since I have been doing research and finding out what's what, this woman, Amina, she has been getting her likeness taken a lot. Like, I guess she had this colorful kitchen, and I believe Lisa Frank company like copied her entire kitchen or whatever and didn't give her no type of credit for their pop-up shop. So she's been popular in this type of, you know, doll and like stuff world. Just different type of scene that I'm on. But anyway, so she called them out. And so being that Lisa Frank was a company who they have been in her DMs, they have been, you know, commenting emojis under her kitchen, and then they made this whole pop-up hotel, pop-up shop, didn't give her credit, didn't give her no type of monetary nothing about it, and it was so blatant. By the time that this situation happened with the father, I believe it happened after this kitchen thing, I'm sure she was like tired of it. So she had took to Instagram and took to Twitter and took to social media to call out this MGA doll company, the same company that was suing Tiny and T.I., for having this doll that she felt like resembled her likeness. The father's response, he told her she was a disgrace to black people, and the way that he like talked to her, it was just nasty. So I'm like, I see why Jasmin, Jason, and Angela feel like they can approach and speak to black people the way they do. It comes from somewhere. You know, it definitely does. So in response to Amina saying that she felt like these dolls looked exactly like her when she has all of this rainbow inspiration with these blue puffy hair, the father responds and he tells her that she is a liar, extortionist, and a fraud. He said, "Who's your so-called lawyer? Put his name and contact information here publicly now so we can contact him or her. We will no longer be nice and we will sue you for defamation, extortion, fraud, etc. Watch. You are a disgrace to the black people and BLM cause, liar and coward." And then she responds, she says, "So if my Twitter or Instagram accounts disappear, you know why." Isaac responds and says, "They will disappear because you are a fraud. What's your lawyer's name and contact information?" So I'm like, why is he talking to her like that? When all she's saying is, this is mighty canny of my likeness. So the apple don't fall far. As it pertains to my personal situation and my interaction with the daughter, the son, and the wife, it was given very entitled, I can treat black people how I want. Black people are beneath me type of feel. It was given very much, I can do what I want and get away with it. It was given very much like, you know, I'm not used to working for nothing, you know? And it was given very much, although she has a company, Cult Gaia, it was given, and I don't know it to be facts, but what it appeared, it looked like, you know, it don't look like something she worked hard for. It just looked like, and again, I can't say for facts, but what it looked like is something that she just threw daddy's money name on and taking credit for. It just didn't give, I understand what it's like to be a hard worker and somebody who is independent and grinding. Because every time I told her that I'm independent and I'm working, it just never clicked. So I said, two things can be true. It's definitely because of my skin color that she just kept insisting that I absolutely had to be with him. But also it came from a place of not understanding that some people have to grind for theirs. Some people don't got daddy's money to just slap on the name of a company and say, oh, I'm no. Some of us actually have to grind from the ground up, and that's what you see me doing. So just like I asked your father, I asked Tiny and T.I. on previous days when they were there, would they be willing to speak? And I've been working with integrity this whole time, you know? But in a separate video, I will break down everything that went on in the trial, the rankest undertones of certain things, different things that was pointed out, and how T.I. and Tiny's lawyers even called out some of the rankest undertones of the approach, and how even the juror that I spoke to called out some of the racist undertones of their approach as well. So we'll do a deep dive of that in a separate video. But first, I just had to talk about this because the more I watched that video and the more that I thought about just how everything happened, I'm like, it's up. It's jacked up. But as a black woman, keep on working. No matter what, keep on striving, okay? Don't let people like Jasmin Larian or Angela Larian stop your grind, stop you from working. You know, they might put a damper or put salt in the game like they did by intimidating the juror not to speak to me. However, you just got to keep on working. No matter if there's haters, y'all seen all the haters that came out the woodwork, making up stuff, lying, just saying all kind of crazy stuff after the Tory Lanez trial. Keep on working. Baby girl, you got this. Period. Also, another message that I want to say, I thought I was done, but I just wanted to also say, like, and don't let what people possibly can do to you, you know, stop you from telling your truth. Because before I came forward, I was just like, dang, you know, I seen how other black women was treated. And I was like, wow, like, you know, she just simply was telling her truth of how she felt like her likeness was stolen and she was threatened with lawsuits and, you know, being sued and things like that. And so even me coming forward to tell my absolute truth, you know, I was kind of like, should I even like go there? Should I even like, you know, but it's like, listen, we got to fight for ourselves as black women. We have to tell our truths no matter what. We cannot be scared of these big companies that try to squish the little guy. We have to tell our truth and warn and be a voice to warn other black women to take heed, because hopefully somebody listening, they'll think twice about supporting the Bratz dolls company, MGA, LOL Surprise Dolls, Miss Jasmin, Angela, and the son. They all have a stake in the company. We have to think twice about who we give our money to, and we got to come together and have an actual black company making dolls to represent us black people. People who look like us, making dolls like us, and making things that represent us. You know, I'm very happy, like during the holiday season, we had like wrapping paper that was made and curated by black people, and how Target is starting to also incorporate more black designers, and you know that, you know, you got Tabitha in Target and you have all these black people getting their praise and whatever. We need more of that, okay? So we gotta, in order to get more of that, like we gotta speak out against the racism, and we have to put other Black women on notice. Because if I stay silent, then another Black woman might, you know, do business with them or start or enter into a situation not knowing their behavior or whatever and what's possible and how they can act. So, you know, you gotta put that forward. So I'll catch y'all in the next video. Again, we're gonna do a deep dive of this case, and I'll catch y'all next time.